As tempers rose at Barcelona training after Neymar's angry confrontation with new fullback Nelson Semedo, so too did the prospect that the Brazilian superstar may well leave for Paris Saint-Germain. But then there are already many at the club cocking an eyebrow and wondering whether that was the whole point. Whether that is true or not. What is certainly true right now is that the French club had not yet paid the 25-year-old's release clause. One suspicion at Barcelona is that PSG don't actually want to pay that release clause, due to the many complications and the possibility of also paying a lot of tax on it. So some of the players can't want to try to force the Catalan club to negotiate. Barcelona progress into the quarter-finals, along with Bayern Munich, Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund. Unai Emery, meanwhile, could not look. Sergi Roberto was duly mobbed by his teammates, as scenes of pandemonium spread around the Nou Camp. The 25-year-old lifted the ball over trap and into the far corner to complete the Champions League's greatest ever comeback. In the final minute of added-on time, Neymar's lofted pass found Sergi Roberto in the box. Into stoppage time, and after Marquinhos' foul, Neymar converted Barcelona's second penalty of the night. 3 minutes from time, Neymar struck back with a splendid free kick which beat Kevin Trapp at his near post. Cavani could not hide his emotion after scoring the goal which, at that point, had looked to have ended Barcelona's hopes of qualifying. However, when Edinson Cavani grabbed a vital away goal for the visitors, Barca's hopes looked lost. After the halftime interval, Lionel Messi put his name on the score sheet from the penalty spot. Excellent improvisation from Andres Iniesta caused Layvin Kurzawa to convert the ball into his own net. One of Klopp's favorite players, Firmino, is likely to lead the line once again come the start of the season, linked up superbly with Maine and Coutinho last term, though will hope to improve on his scoring return of 12 in 41 appearances. Liverpool would have some truly frightening pace at their disposal if they lined up with Maine on one flank and ex-Chelsea winger Salah on the other. The Egyptian wasn't given a fair crack of things at Chelsea but is still only 24 years old and was one of Roma's best players last season, scoring 19 goals over the season. One of the signings of the season last year, and Liverpool's form nosedived alarmingly when he picked up his season-ending injury against Everton, scored 13 goals in the league for Liverpool and was named the Players' Player and Fans' Player at the end of season awards. The Brazilian is one of the Premier League's most talented players when he is in form and injury-free, and it's no surprise Barcelona have come calling. If Liverpool can keep hold of him, he'd form part of a frightening front four. The 29-year-old signed a new 25M 4-year contract in February, with Klopp telling journalists that Lallana was a very important player for us, a player I trust in the dressing room. He enjoyed a fine 2016-17 season and has developed into one of the club's most important players. Jordan Henderson is Liverpool's club captain, but after 2 injury-plagued seasons, the rumor is that Klopp could look to replace him with RB Leipzig's box-to-box midfielder Keita. The Guinea international has been a revelation in the Bundesliga this season and knows where the goal is despite playing as a defensive midfielder, having scored 8 league goals last term. Prove that he can be effective sitting deep in a midfield trio, but his fitness is a major concern. Missed much of the second half of the season with his persistent foot problem. With Ryan Sessegnon signing renewed terms at Fulham and Benjamin Mendy out of Liverpool's price range, they have turned to Hull City's Andrew Robertson. The Scotland left-back quietly impressed during his 2 years in the Premier League, despite both ending in relegation, and Willow. Has been a success since signing from Schalke on a free transfer at the beginning of last season. With a season of Premier League football now under his belt, he's guaranteed to get even better next season. Could Liverpool still pull this off, after being forced into an embarrassing climb down amid tapping up allegations earlier this summer? It seems unlikely, yet if those reports were to be believed, Van Dijk wanted the move to Anfield. Klopp is still a fan, and with the player agitating for a move it could still happen. Who is Jurgen Klopp looking to bring in this summer, and how might those transfer targets fit into his first choice starting lineup? The greater suspicion, however, is that this whole episode remains, to use the words of one figure connected to proceedings, a classless bluff for Neymar to get a new contract. If that is the case, and the player doesn't actually want to play for PSG, he may have backed himself into a corner because Barca are really not in the financial position right now to offer him the kind of mega deal he craves. That could well have brought the situation to a standstill, albeit with a lot of tension. Many at Camp Nou are increasingly irritated with how his entourage had gone about all of this, and some of the more old-school elements around the first-team squad would genuinely get to the point where they see no harm in letting him go. The feeling remains that pretty much all of PSG's current players would love to come to Barca anyway, and that the only reason he would possibly want to go there would be for money, and if that is the case they wouldn't want to keep him anyway. A club of the Catalans' size are naturally accustomed to the type of players they sign having egos and who look to match those egos with market rate. But there is still a line required to keep the chemistry of the team correct and ensure they actually have the kind of competitive mentality required. The primary goal should be to win. Win in the right way, and you will be rewarded for it. That could still be to misunderstand Neymar's personal motivations. However, as well as to misunderstand his immense importance to Barcelona, no one could possibly doubt his on-pitch motivations, having seen him in some of the club's biggest games over the last 3 years, not least the 6-1 win over PSG themselves, at 25. As well as at that level of talent, he should also represent the future of the team beyond Lionel Messi, the Argentine's direct successor, as the focal point. There is a growing feeling in Spain that Barca are underestimating a lot of this and have not really been as well prepared as they should be. Even if many of the suspicions are fair, they are in for Philippe Coutinho, and while Liverpool's stance is that they will not sell for any price, the younger Brazilians can't feel there is a 70% chance of it happening, partly because they think Neymar will go to PSG. If it does actually happen, and Barca do actually get Liverpool to buckle, it is fair to wonder whether Coutinho is an adequate replacement. He is an undeniably good player, and one who can further progress, but he's not at Neymar's level. If Neymar does go, Barca really need a Pablo Dybala or a Kylian Mbappe. That's the quality you're talking about, but not really the quality they're actually talking about buying right now. Part of that could be down to the fact the funds simply aren't there, but will be if Neymar goes. Although that should still mean they do some contingency work. Coutinho and Neymar are close friends on and off the field with Brazil. Getty right. The alternative of course is that, if it does come to actual negotiation, Barca will just tell PSG to thereby give them Marco Verratti and reshape their own side. A curious element in all this, however, is that it is only the French club being mentioned despite Manchester United's long-standing interest in Neymar. It is well known that Executive Vice Chairman Ed Woodward would love the Brazilian at the club, but Old Trafford sources say they are wary of getting used by the players' entourage in the way that happened with Real Madrid's Sergio Ramos in 2015. It's single quote as an appropriate addendum to the situation, and the residual feeling that so much of this is a game of brinkmanship and bluff. We won't know for certain until hard moves beyond shapes in training start to happen.